What's up everybody? Today I'm going to help you how to get past the structure size limitations of a single structure block. That way you can save or load larger structures. In Minecraft Java Edition, a single structure block can load or save up to 48 by 48 by 48 blocks. That's the size of 3 chunks by 3 chunks by 3 chunks cubed. You should also note that the structure size limitation will be different in Minecraft Bedrock Edition and may be different in servers as well. Now this is a pretty big capture area to begin with for a single structure block, but if you're like me, you have builds that exceed this limit. So what do? As a quick example, let's say that this is our complete build. And I've color-coded it so that it represents 1/2 here and 1/2 here. The idea is you're going to use multiple structure blocks to capture various parts of a single build and save it so that when you load it back in, it creates a chain which allows you to easily load in a complete structure. And if that doesn't make sense, let's just demonstrate it so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to put down a structure block right here. Note that this structure block is being put into the build of the first half. So we're going to use this structure block to capture the second half. We're going to name this test 2, and we're going to say that it's a 5 by 5 by 5 structure. Much smaller than the limit, but this is just a demonstration. We're going to move it over on the z-axis by 2, and we're going to place this down on the ground. And we need to go down one further. Okay, so the first structure block is actually the second structure block because it's capturing the second half of the structure. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to leave it there, and we're going to put down another structure block that's going to capture the first half. And there you have it. We have this structure block here. It has been called test 1. And you can see the wireframe for the first structure block is capturing the first half of this build. It's also capturing the second structure block that is within the wireframe for the first half, which is capturing the second half of the build. So it's creating a 1-2-step process. So now with that saved, we can actually come over here and we're going to place down a structure block and we're going to load in test 1. First, we have to determine where it's going to sit. So we're going to move this over on the z-axis 1 and we're going to place it down on the ground. So it's going to load in right there. So now that we know where it's going to load in, we're going to say load. And you can see it's loaded in the very first half of this build here. And it also contains that structure block for the second half, which is already being represented here by the second wireframe. So all we have to do is go back to that second structure block, which is labeled test 2, go to load, and simply load it in. And you can see it's loaded in the second half of that structure. This makes it super easy to load in very big structures that exceed that 48 by 48 by 48 structure size limit in Java Minecraft. And as another quick example, I did a quick short demo here with colors going from red to purple. And when you're doing these type of structure block load save situations, you always want to work backwards when saving. So what you want to do is actually go into the very last structure block. I've had this one pre-prepared, so all I have to do is go over to save. You can see it's color part 6, and it's capturing the very last part of that build. So when I go over to the next structure block, we're going to change that over to 6, color part 5, and it's capturing the next part of the build with the structure block for the last part. So we're working our way back. And eventually you'll reach the very first structure block, which is capturing the first part of the build, with the second capture block, which will capture the second part of the build with the third capture block. So you can see how the wireframes are set up. It's going this way, then this way, then this way, etc., etc., etc. So when you load this in, what's going to happen is you go to load, we're going to say color underscore part 1. Make sure that this is on the ground, and we're going to move it over on the x-axis 3. And it'll load right there where we want it. So we're going to confirm it and load. You can see that it's loaded in the first part with the second structure block. So we just go in, switch to load, loads in the second part with the third structure block. And you can see how the wireframe continues on for the next structure block that's been added. So we go back to save, load in, and it keeps continuing until we reach the end. So this process makes it super easy to load in structures that are incredibly large and exceed the structure size limit of a single structure block. It's important to note that when you're creating these structure files, you are creating multiple parts as shown here. This is our color sample where we have color part 1 through 6. And those files are located within a generated Minecraft structures folder path within the save world where you created them. It's simply easy just to copy these and place these into another world if you want to transfer your builds. But remember, you always need that generated Minecraft structures folder path within your save world folder. If you don't have it, you can just simply copy the entire folder. And lastly, let's take a look at what this looks like with an actual structure. So let's place down a structure block. We're going to go to load because this is a pre-saved build that I did before. And we're going to do red rocket fuel station underscore 001. And as you can see, we have our structure right here. It's loaded in within the very first capture area, and it's loaded in the structure block for the area that's still not here, which is being represented by the second wireframe. So all we have to do now is just load in the last half of this structure, hit load, and you can see it generates right in within that second half of the structure area. And now the structure is complete, and this makes moving, saving, and transferring builds super easy. So I hope this was incredibly informative. I hope this gives you some ideas on saving a lot of your builds, maybe even transferring them to new worlds if you've created or updated your worlds. And it's just a great method of capturing really large builds that exceed the structure block size limitation. I hope you liked this video. If you did, drop a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments field below, and I'll see you all next time. Until the next Minecraft tutorials, stay excellent, and I'll see you all later.